second, but what I found myself really wanting to speak to next is the value and the uniqueness of learning by doing format. For me, there's nothing actually quite like that in the sense that by being able to move into different roles, coding, I learned more about my own practice as a counselor and areas by being able to totally reflect and just watch for and notice things. Like it was an incredibly rich learning experience, as to is the profound personal transformation that's happened through practicing these skills sitting in the client role and then also growing my capacity to hold space for others. That was one of my goals when I came in, is that I had a sense of an internal feeling of panic when working with clients that has now dissipated because I have a deeper understanding of how client-led motivational interviewing needs to be. But I don't know that I would have gotten that had I not been able to witness through the coding role, live it through the client role, and practice through the counselor role. The other thing I think it did too was transformed something in me around seeing that we're all helping each other, if that makes sense. Like that I am not one static role. And I think sometimes because I'm in a helper field and in a front facing role, I can get held in that role. And while I know I don't fit that, I know I'm a lot more human and a lot more expansive and messy. The ability to in one session be a messy human real trying to figure out something and be somebody who could hold space for somebody else and or hold space witnessing it happening, I think really will change me as a practitioner. So I don't know that I could say enough about learning by doing model and what it means to do the thing and learn as you go, which also pushes on ideas of perfectionism and all of those other things too. So I feel like I got to meet parts of myself and be supported doing it. It's particularly strengthened my conflict coaching skills because I have expanded my ability to give more focus back to the client, more, it naturally gave more power back to the client because I'm utilizing a lot more simple and complex reflections, the really more deeply understanding silence as a co-facilitator and what it means to allow that space to be there so that internal, external processing can happen, but also so that the client themselves can see themselves in the movement of the sessions, and that then seemed to increase the speed for which the clients themselves were willing to look at something and decide if and how they wanted to respond to that or not. And a lot less looking at me for answers.
It sounds like the ability to give quality reflections and giving them the space to process what your reflections are, what their thoughts and feelings are, has helped them make the changes that they're trying to move toward.
So it's just like made me honestly like rethink my whole language system and how I use words and talk to individuals day to day. It's really, really helpful.
I've found that I've been applying it when I'm talking to participants who come in here and I am doing a peer support session. I'm like thinking back to these sessions and I'm pausing a lot before I say certain things, like something that maybe would have like me saying like, "Oh, that's great," would have come out very naturally. Whereas now I'm like reflecting back instead of saying an approval.
Right, yeah. That's a subtle but big shift between approval and affirmations. Yeah, affirmations are much more helpful from a counseling perspective, getting away from that approval, which can often increase the power disparity between clients and counselors.
I also really like the learn by doing format because having experienced each role, I've like learned kind of what it's like to be as a client and counselor and like things like there's like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like gaining the lived experience of each role. And it reflects kind of it does reflect the real community because I didn't know anyone in this group before. So being able to chat with individuals who at the beginning were strangers reflects my real world at work and how I interact with strangers every day. And being able to learn the skill of like picking up on how different people speak and label their emotions. It's just super helpful.
So now when I'm like supporting someone, I'm kind of looking out for instances where there is something identifiable that someone might want to change. I think that it's like it's tangible. You can get it's not just like sitting and talking with someone and letting them recap and like process things that they're processing. It's actually being like, oh, there's something we can do about this. Like, yeah, I think it's something tangible that can actually make change for people instead of just offering a warm ear.
Right. Yeah, like having that focus of listening for change talk as sort of a launching point for what direction you're going to go in. Absolutely. It's helpful. Uh, the question I'm sort of most interested in is if you were to say to your executive director or your boss, or if you were to recommend to a colleague this training, what would that sound like?
I mean, I would say that it helped me improve. I feel like I'm a better counselor, I guess, because of it.
Like there's immense value to it from gaining like introspection skills when I was being a client to learning like it's helped my verbal skills as well in externalizing my thoughts better into words. It's made me more comfortable in general just speaking to clients. It's boosted my confidence a lot. I didn't think I could do it, but working on the feedback I've gotten from everyone, I now know I can do it. So it's pushed me out of my comfort zone in a very healthy way, and I think it's made me a better employee as well.